Hey everyone, this is Chris.
And this is Steve.
And you're listening to / watching One Cross Radio. And today we are rejoined by soon-to-be father, Steve. Steve, how you doing?
Yep, Father Steve. That's what you can call me.
Oh my gosh.
I'm no longer a Baptist. I'm no.
You should make that joke on a Sunday morning and see how much it'll fly.
Yep.
So today we are talking about Captain Marvel. But before we do, I just want to point out this awesome, I almost said t-shirt, this awesome hoodie that I am wearing that I got from HeroWares.com. Not a sponsor, just love the product.
Does it have eye holes?
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
it's not one of not a sponsor, but hey, HeroWares, if you see this and you want to, let's do it.
I got this t-shirt from my mother-in-law for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Also not a sponsor.
No, not a sponsor. Although mother-in-law of Steve, if you want to be, let's work something out.
Your dog is licking my crotch.
Luna is, dear listener and viewer, Luna is out and about. I legit just got home from work. Oh, she's making an on-screen appearance. I just got home from morning of staff meetings, like half an hour before you got here.
You're going to go to headlock.
I just took Luna around, so she's hype. She's hype. But, Steve, I know you got to go soon, so we got to be respectful of your time, because it's been a meetings-heavy day for you, hasn't it?
It's tax season. I met with my friend Joe, who does my taxes. Joe, he'll do your taxes for a reasonable fee. Also not.
Thanks, Joe. And if you want to be, let's work something out. Not that we're desperate for sponsors. Oh my god!
Just a running joke every time we do something.
Every single time. On a side note, this gets listener, you can't see it, but Luna just dropped a ball in my lap. She is demanding attention, so you will hear stuff happening. Sorry, Steve. So let's dive right in. What did you think of Captain Marvel?
Yeah, I liked it. I not my favorite one ever, but I enjoyed it. It's held my attention. It made me laugh. It surprised me. I wasn't like, I think as much as I wanted to like Black Panther, one that everyone really liked recently, I could see the twist coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I didn't expect what happened in that to happen. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was caught off guard all the way through. Well, like I know the Kree aren't as good as they come out to be, but I didn't expect the Skrulls to be the good guys.
Yeah, I did not like that.
Yeah.
I did not like that twist. But
did it surprise you?
No. Well, yeah, it surprised me, but not.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. It wasn't like a Last Jedi situation where it's like it kept going left when you expected it to go right, but it's just not a twist I enjoyed. I feel like I'm going to come across really negative on the movie, but that being said, I did like it, but I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5. And I definitely think in that movie there was a 4 out of 5, if not more.
Okay.
But I don't want to just be negative, but
well, yeah. Starting from the beginning, I thought the opening Marvel Studios Stan Lee.
Oh, that was excellent.
Was awesome. I got a little teary.
Yeah, that was great, and I loved the cameo they worked in.
Yeah, I don't know if they could do this with him, but it'd be great if they could do the de-aging technology on him, because he obviously was not that old when he did Mallrats. But.
No, he wasn't, and I think they somehow got audio from Mallrats from when he said that line. And Kevin Smith released a video, first a photo, and he was like a blubbering mess.
Yeah.
And then a video just going into how heartfelt it was and how much it meant to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh man, good for you. I'm happy for the guy. And it would be really cool, especially when you've done work around comics and you knew Stan like he did.
Well, and it was so grounded in the time frame, right? Like 95 sort of.
Well, yeah,
that's
95. Mallrats did come out in 95. And it's it's not Kevin Smith's best movie by any means, but it's still cool.
I don't think Kevin Smith has the best movie.
I'll disagree, but yeah, it's the start off was great. Most of the performances were really, really solid.
Yeah.
Brie Larson, I liked her performance a lot. And that actually ties into something negative about the movie, but that it's not on her. For me, it's on the directing and the writing.
Sure.
So we'll get to that. Ben's Mendelsohn was excellent.
He's awesome.
He's always excellent.
Yeah, he's great.
He seems to always play the bad guy.
Not this time.
Well, you find out partway through. And a slightly scene chewing, but in the good way. Like oh man,
I think
so much
he
fun.
and Sam Jackson kind of carried the performances in that.
Yeah,
it was great.
I think well, trying not to jump to it. Special effects were solid.
Yeah, like I feel like Coulson, you could sort of like
that. Yes,
he didn't look as good, but Sam Jackson, you just kind of forgot what you were looking at
no,
one point. Like,
my jokes at point have been like, I don't even think Sam Jackson looked that young as they aged him, but it looked like a person. Coulson, there was a couple times the time where I'm like, ooh, that's sticking out. Especially when when it was regular Coulson figuring out that Coulson in the car was a Skrull. It was just, there was a couple seconds where you're just like, ooh,
yeah, it
could have been touched up slightly better here, but on the whole, it was like really, really, the de-aging was done really, really well. Yeah, see, here's the thing. I've got so much to say on the issues, but that's not to say it's a bad movie.
Sure. Well, I think like I really enjoyed. It kind of felt like not as off the wall as this, but almost felt like watching Men in Black.
Huh?
Like it was just sort of like buddy cop, fish out of water, space, weird sci-fi humor thing.
That's fair. Yeah.
And like with you know. I knew that something was like Goose was some kind of alien, that cat.
Yeah.
That did not, like, I did not expect that when that happened. That felt like right out of Men in Black when that,
the
tentacle thing, yeah. Which I guess happens in the comics, but I just wasn't expecting that, and it made me laugh.
Caleb and I were talking about that on the way to meeting up with you guys last night.
We met up last night.
We did. Although by the time you see this, it'll be a week before. Anyways, because we're just blowing away the illusion that this is live. There's at times always like an alien where there's a joke. So I'm like, okay, there's going to be something with this cat.
Yeah.
It's not gonna, but I didn't necessarily see it being that.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it didn't. Like, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. And then the first time it happened, I was like, oh dang, all right.
I just loved Sam Jackson's like relationship with the cat all the way through. And then, so spoilers, obviously, hopefully you understand this is a spoilers thing.
Yeah.
But when Goose scratches his eye off or scratches it in a way that destroys it.
Yeah.
Do you remember the reference that he made to losing his eye in The Winter Soldier? Have you seen any of these things on the internet even?
What was the reference?
He's told Captain America's challenging him to trust people.
Oh yeah.
And he says the last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye.
Oh.
And the whole through this movie, he's like, "Oh, I love you. You're such a good guy." And he loses his eye. So that's kind of funny.
I just didn't like that. It was something I figured was coming.
Yeah.
And I had heard was coming, and then when it happened, I'm like, oh man. I don't know. I was kind of hoping it would more so be like, left a mystery. It's one of those things you don't need explained.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like some people really enjoyed it. They found it funny. It's just something that didn't connect with me as much. But yeah, it was goofy with him loving the cat, like loving on this cat. You're like,
yeah,
what?
I enjoyed just that 90s nostalgia of she's in Blockbuster and just seeing those shelves, the VHSs on them again, like Hook in the background, and you know, like it was just kind of like, oh yeah. And then she's on Alta Vista trying to do the search engine, and then like the computer takes forever to load. Like all that stuff was fun. Like that's, you know, if you grew up in those 90s, you remember what that stuff was like.
Man, and I feel like I'm coming off as such a negative Nathan. At points I liked it, the 90s references, but then other times I'm like, all right. It wasn't as organic for me, but I did appreciate some of the stuff. And then even though it would have been more of just like throwing in 90s references for 90s references sake, if there was something for Pogs or Crazy Bones, I would have been like, yeah, which would have been defeating my own point, but I don't care. It would have been awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll recognize that that's slightly hypocritical.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the 90s piece a little bit. But I found it didn't, like, Ragnarok really had like a bit of an 80s vibe to it.
Sure.
Or Guardians 1 and 2 both musically had like
I thought the music for this one was pretty good too, the 90s music, you know.
Yeah, I just found with those movies it was a lot more organic to the movie.
Sure.
Or less on the note. Like there was one scene in particular, spoilers, when she gets to the huge space battle, and then no doubts,
Yeah.
I'm just a girl.
Yeah,
comes
that was
on.
that was
I'm like,
it was
a little too on the nose.
it was
for me,
it was a
but
girl power movie.
It was,
like it
yeah.
really was, and that's fine. Like I think that's
I've got nothing wrong with girl power, but Wonder Woman didn't bust that.
yeah,
kind
but Wonder
of thing
Woman
up.
didn't do it as well as I thought. Wonder Woman wasn't nearly as good of a movie as Captain Marvel.
Ooh,
Like Wonder Woman.
Ooh.
Wonder Woman, the whole third act sucked. It didn't make any sense.
I'll give you the third act,
Yeah.
but I have more issues with Captain Marvel than I did Wonder Woman.
Okay, I just thought so. Here's like I don't like it when a movie sets a bunch of stuff up and then can't follow through on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I don't like it when a movie is bloated because it's trying to make connections rather than just tell its own story, right? So, like my three of my least favorite, my four least favorite are, my least favorite of all is Iron Man 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just felt like they didn't tell a story. They were just trying to like, hey, let's set up the Avengers at that point. Thor, the original Thor, was also a similar idea to that. And Age of Ultron does a lot of that too.
Yeah.
My least favorite is Guardians 2 for other reasons. But
Yeah, that's fair.
like I felt like this movie had so much potential to do that because it was like, let's go back and plug a hole. And there was some stuff like her name is the Avengers, so we're going to name the Avengers after her.
Oh,
like
man.
that was whatever. I don't really care. It wasn't like the movie felt bloated and directionless because of that. Like it could have been or was in the past with these movies.
My reaction to that isn't like I hated that, which I was about. It's more so it was just one of those like, it wasn't something that needed an explanation.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, part of it I think is we're going to see, and we got the post-credit scene with her meeting up with the Avengers for the first time, like to see what that relationship's going to look like in Endgame and ongoing is going to sort of help maybe shape how we feel about some of these things. Particularly, like we've also seen it in the trailer. The third trailer for Endgame has some of that stuff in it too.
Yeah. Which that reaction, like, so when I saw Captain Marvel with Jill, that might have had the best audible reaction to a post-credit scene since Thanos showing up in the post-credits for Avengers. Like the person right in front of us, like when Captain Marvel suddenly showed up in it, was like, oh my gosh! Like audible gasp and everything, and Jill and I are just trying not to crack up.
Well, she didn't realize that was going to happen?
Somehow she didn't realize. So it was, I like those moments where it's like an audible, like, gotcha! Like in that good way, where somehow people didn't see it coming. Because with Jill and I, and with you and I, most of the time you can see this stuff coming.
Mm-hmm.
And to give the film credit, like it could have been so much worse in buckling under the weight of everything going on than it was. Because part of my issues with the movie is it did have too much going on where it's like it's an amnesia movie, but it's also a tie to Marvel's past while being an origin story, while setting up Endgame. Like it didn't perfectly balance all those things, but it did a better job than other movies that have a lot going on did.
I don't think it was
to give it credit.
I don't think it was a perfect movie at all. I just think that I enjoyed it. Like it was I just loved. I enjoy these movies, and if they're not, I don't need them to be. I don't need all of them to be Avengers: Infinity War or Captain America: Winter Soldier. Which like it's like, oh, that was fun. It didn't fall apart under the weight of itself, and I enjoyed that. Like, okay, I think Brie Larson did a better job in Community as Rachel, the funny coat check girl who ended up being Abed. But she was
and
still fun.
Yeah, no, and that's so. Yeah, the frustration I had with Larson was not actually with Larson herself. It was more so with the pacing of the movie. I found the movie's pacing was really weird because until that final like 5 minutes, I found it never really got out of second gear. And yet the way they had the characters reacting to the story was as if they were within fifth gear. Because it was very much like something big would happen. And it's like, okay, next.
Well, explain what you mean by this.
So to give the prime example of it is Larson finds out that she's been lied to for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
And they touch on it briefly for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Like that should be for any character a freak out moment. Like there needs to be an emotional response to that. There wasn't. They didn't allow for there to be. And she could have acted the crap out of that scene. Like she could have like crushed it. And very much so with the movie, I found like, okay, here's these revelations, but you just like, okay, we move forward. You're not actually given a chance for there to be any breathing on it. Like the betrayal of Jude Law, which I saw coming.
Yeah. Well, if you know anything about the characters, you know Jan Rog's not a good guy. And there's
But even that,
some
it
of
was
the other
some,
ones.
even that,
Yeah.
which I know less about him.
Yeah.
Like it was something you could see structurally coming from the beginning.
Sure.
So then I'm like, okay, even though I know this is coming, like there should be some good payoff. There should be some good scenes with this, but there wasn't. It was just kind of, all right, next. And then the only thing is like, you just found out it's like, but I'm going to help you guys.
Yeah.
They didn't really give any emotional
I think part of it
to a lot of it, and that's my biggest beef with the movie.
I think part of it probably that plays into a few things. One of them is that it was a movie that was trying to do a lot of things. So that's part of it. The other part of it is she was brainwashed, right? So you don't expect like a fully normal like response out of that. But I think the biggest
something.
Yeah, I guess so. I think the biggest thing in it was they seem to be more interested in doing the whole girl power thing than making a movie that the beats make sense for it, right? Like, so the whole last little bit of the movie, you're expecting this huge fight between her and Jan Rog, and she's like, I got nothing to prove to you. It's fine. And that was the point they were trying to make. That's fine, but it also kind of maybe shortchanged that relationship a little bit. But that's speaking as a guy, maybe that's something that was important as a woman. But the other thing, the part that I think the biggest beef that I had with the whole movie is like, I don't really get into these conversations about, oh, she's such an OP Mary Sue character or whatever. Like, I had no problem with Ray, I had no problem with Wonder Woman. I felt like that last scene where she's taking out the accusers' ships
was visually stunning.
It was great. It just made like, she just literally blew up 8 bombs that were supposed to raise Earth and was unscathed, and then took out 2 ships that, if you remember Guardians of the Galaxy, the entire Nova Corps, the Guardians, and the Reavers couldn't take out 1, and she took out 2 in 3 seconds. Like there needs to be, even in like Infinity War, when Thor shows up and he's fighting the
he takes a star to the face.
Yeah,
but there's still like, he's almost dead.
Yeah, and then he shows up and he's defeating those dog things, whatever they're called, Thanos' army. Even that's like, that was pretty cool, but okay, like it's kind of a cheat. I feel like they made him a little like whatever. But I just feel like there's no limit, it almost seems, with Carol's power. And they never called her Captain Marvel, by the way.
No, they didn't.
But like, I just kind of want to know, like, what are the limitations on her powers? Is this just going to be stoppable, or how is this going to work out? Yeah, I don't know.
So, like, the actual Talon fight, I had no problem with her being like, I have nothing to prove to you.
Yeah.
Because that's your girl power moment. But not to be like everything must be compared to Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman, even in its 3rd act, it had that whole emotional thing for her where it's like, no, I did this. Like there was a weight to it. And it's not something I expect to happen to a female character. I would expect any character, male or female or alien, who's just found out they've been lied to and brainwashed for the past 6 years, to have some reaction, like to.
Sure.
And for me, that's a disservice to the character, a disservice to a performer who could, quite frankly, like knock that out of the park.
And I think anytime you tell a story, anytime you make a movie in particular, there's going to be priorities in the storytelling that you want to show, right? And their priority, besides setting up and filling in some gaps, their priority was to show the struggle. Her primary struggle wasn't against the Kree, it wasn't against the Skrull. It was, in my perspective as a guy, her primary struggle was against the expectations that are set against her as a woman. Right. Like she overcame those things, showed that she's powerful, remembered that she was powerful, and had nothing to prove to anybody. And I think that was the point. And maybe again, like I'm not coming into this as a woman, right? I missed some of that, I think. But I think that's what they were going for. And
that's something like, and it's the fallout of this one has been very interesting for me. Just because. As I like, we can touch on that or not, but like, Screen Junkies did a great spoiler review of this.
Okay.
Because I found they addressed a lot of the structural issues that I had with the movie. So in that, I was like, okay, that's validating. And they did it in a way where it's not looking at the politics that get applied to this movie.
Sure.
In some way, in some avenues necessarily, and to me, a lot of avenues unnecessarily. Because I'm like, no, this is a movie. It doesn't need to be a huge political thing. You can make it that. That's just not how. Anyways. But then, as I hear other people's point of view, I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to give this movie I do want to give this movie another shot.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy the DVD Blu-ray, but they don't do the combo backs anymore, which is stupid. Jerks.
Oh, they don't do that anymore?
No, it's really annoying. It's now either like the Blu-ray that has all the bonus features that I like, or just the DVD. It's not Blu-ray and DVD, which is just dumb.
I just go for the DVDs.
I know. I like the Blu-rays though.
Fair enough.
But I would I'm hoping this gets future installments because there's all this speculation.
Of course it's going to. Yeah.
Well, there like through the political, there's all this speculation on like she's ruffled the feathers of the and whatever. But
she made more money on her opening weekend than Wonder Woman did.
Yeah,
she's climbing the ranks in terms of how much she's made. They're expecting $1 billion internationally,
which is nuts.
Like it's gonna be a bankable movie, and they're gonna make another one,
which is good. So, I hope out of the second one though, I'd like to see some more stuff where it's like, okay, we can do this in a girl power way while still like doing stuff where there's the like servicing the story and still like having that opportunity. I would like to see, as you said, like somewhere where the idea on what's the cap on her powers, and also her realizing like I gotta rein this in a bit because if I punch a dude in the face, but I can fly through a ship, like I'm gonna liquidate somebody.
Yeah.
Like to give credit where it's due, the DC animated show always had like Superman reining it in because
Justice League
and his own cartoon. It was like we have to. Like part of it is we'll have Superman get beat up to this guys, but every once in a while he would give this speech like, "I always have to rein it in because like."
Yeah, Spider-Man used to do that in the comic books too.
Like
every once in a
people
while.
are paper. I could eviscerate them with like a flick.
Yeah.
Like I'd like something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like I have all this incredible power.
I have the power.
Like I can't just beat somebody up. Like. Walk us through it. Like, are you holding back or do you like Hulk into it a bit?
Yeah. I don't know.
Just something. It'd be nice.
So, what do you think of the reveal about Marvel?
That was weird. Like, I'm not a diehard Captain Marvel person. No. So, some of the twists and turns, I know some people took issue with. It was different. It was very different, but to me, Marvel isn't a like huge character where it's like, well, you might want to stick with the origin as was. So it worked for the movie, but like I said, I don't have that vested interest where like it really bothered me.
Yeah,
but it's something I can see where I could be like, no, I can understand why that would bother you.
Yeah.
Same with the character of Monica Rambeau in this movie. She's the child of the best friend who looks up to Carol, but in the comics, Monica was Captain Marvel before, so I know.
Which is strange. I don't think she was a character before Carol.
No, so
when Carol, like when they invented the character of Carol, she was just a Air Force lieutenant or something that was in the background of an issue.
They came out within the same like 3 to 5 years.
Okay,
this was brought. It was in a video I watched.
Sure,
and but Carol was Miss Marvel for like the longest time.
Right,
Carol, Monica was Captain Marvel for like 5 years or so.
So here's what I understand of it, though.
Yeah.
They introduced her. She was just a background character. Explosion. A few years later, they're like, "Hey, what if that created a female version of Captain Marvel?" And so they're like, because they did that. Every male character had a female version.
It's true.
Spider-Woman, yep. Hulk had She-Hulk. So Captain Marvel had Miss Marvel.
Yep.
So the origin's fairly similar.
The original Batwoman was like that.
Yeah. And so she was Miss Marvel, and she even dated Captain Marvel for a short little while.
Yep.
But she didn't. There wasn't another Captain Marvel until the end of the 70s when Captain Marvel died. He gets cancer, and there's a really great original graphic novel written by Jim Starlin, where it's the death of Captain Marvel. It's really really well written. So then after that, then Monica Rambeau, because she was Photon at one point.
Yeah.
For her mom on the side of the fighter jet.
Sorry, the only reason I pulled up is I have a friend who I work with who said they never brought Marvel back because he had died of cancer, and that was something the author wrote in like, "You'll never bring this character back." Marvel's come back, right?
Not really.
Okay.
There was a.
All right, so
there's been
dude, you are right.
alternate versions of him. There was one that oh look, Marvel's back during Secret Invasion, but it really ended up being a Skrull.
Right.
But yeah, the character of Marvel, the 616 real version of Captain Marvel has never come back.
Okay, cool. All right, so then, dude, you're right. Awesome. So I did not like the twist with the Skrulls. I kind of felt like that's a story I wouldn't mind, but down the line, because to me, if we are introducing the Skrulls, like the original part was their MO, they invade, they take over, they're bad. And I'd much like personally for me, I'd rather if you're doing a story where it's like, no, we're good, like that could be a story for down the line where they've encountered the Skrulls. The Skrulls have actually been infiltrating Earth for a while, and then it's like, no, we're just trying to find a home. To me, that's a story wrought with tension because you're like, no, all our experiences with this species has been you're evil. We don't trust you. So I just didn't care for that twist. That took me out a bit. Like, cool for trying something different. Yeah. But it's not something I enjoyed.
I liked it.
That's fair.
I like it when a movie can surprise me. And again, I think the idea is the Skrulls are a whole race of beings, so there's probably bad ones too. And like in this one, they happen to be good.
I feel like we're gonna get to that though, because
the part where Ben Mendelsohn's character Talos comes into the Rambo house with the big slushy or whatever, which is a reference to Pulp Fiction. I just like that whole scene was so great where he's just trying to talk him down. I just really thought Ben Mendelsohn did a great job.
He was wonderful.
But I mean, there's also some politicking in there too, right? The imperialistic nation and the refugees and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
whatever.
Which for me at points is like I'm fine with political themes in a movie if I'm going for a political movie. Like if I'm going to sit and watch JFK and it not be a political movie, I'll be like, what the heck did I just watch? Yeah. Or you can do a political thriller in tone like Winter Soldier, where that made sense within that movie. But then at times I'm like, this is not the movie to go with this with. But it
didn't bother me,
which is fair. It wasn't a huge bother, but it was.
Did you know going in that the Tesseract was going to be in it?
No.
Which, I mean, it makes sense. Tesseract, Cosmic Cube is a big part of Captain Marvel's history, but yeah, that completely threw me off.
That's something I also didn't fully care for. It's the difficulty when you go into prequel territory because the Tesseract is something they've shown outside of, I think, Loki in Infinity War actually just holding it. Like it's something that nobody just holds because of how powerful it is.
Captain Marvel holds it.
Apparently. I know. So then, then the cat thing just swallows it and coughs it up.
Well, so in the comics, that character has like dimensions inside of or whatever. I don't know. So, but I had to think about this. Like, what's the history of the Tesseract? So, obviously, at some point, Odin had it. He hides it on Earth in that place that at the beginning of Captain America. The Red Skull comes in and takes it. He loses it in the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. Then at the end of Captain America, Howard Stark finds it.
Well, because they're
looking for Captain America and they find it. So obviously, somewhere in there, Howard Stark
gave it to Marvel.
Yeah, and Project Pegasus, which is the underground base they had in Captain Marvel, also was the name of the project where they were studying it at the beginning of the Avengers. Yeah. The connection there is probably Howard Stark and Marvel had started this process of studying it, not realizing that she was an alien. Yeah. And then it gets lost on her hidden space station, I guess, and then swallowed by Goose. And then, as you see in the final post-credit stinger, he vomits it up on his desk, which is funny. Yeah. I thought. So
it was.
And then then it's in deep storage until they give it to
Selvig.
Professor Selvig at the end of Thor, and then Captain America, maybe.
So the other thing I both liked and didn't like was the use of characters from Guardians.
Oh yeah.
Just because on one hand I'm like, cool, they're here. Then on the other hand, they did nothing. Like it was it was just there for the sake of it.
Yeah.
So on one hand, I'm like, Ronan, like when he finally showed up, I'm like, cool. I was like, where are you? And then you're here, but I'm like, you could have been virtually anybody else. So then it's almost like if you're going to have a character there, I like the character to be serviced.
Yeah.
For there to be a reason. So
It's just kind of cool interconnectedness.
It is.
Though.
It is. So
and I felt like Ronan was a better character in the 2 scenes he was in this one than he was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, right? Like,
yeah. No, which is, it's the catch-22. It's something I liked but didn't like because I'm like, cool, you're here. I like that. I like seeing you, but I also, if you're there, I like you. You're there for a reason.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it kind of sucks for the actors, like Digimon Hansu or whatever.
Yeah.
He's not a small actor. Like, you think you can, like, use that time better for something else.
Or like Idris Elba in the Thor movies, or the first 2 Thor movies in particular.
That's what happens when you sign up for one of these movies when you're not known, and then you get known, you're still in the contract, right? So
yeah.
But
it's
or in the case of Avenger or X-Men, they keep bringing you back so that they can paint you blue and make you as J-Law's.
I'd be happy
character.
if she wasn't there anymore.
She dies in the trailer.
She dies in the trailer, and they confirmed it, which is just makes no sense.
Anywho,
yeah. Do you have anything else on Captain Marvel?
Yeah, it's also interesting. So the Kree haven't really been in the movies much.
No,
but they've been a lot in TV shows. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Really? Okay.
Focuses on the Kree. Because if you know any of the history of like the Inhumans, which the TV show is terrible and I don't think matters, but the Inhumans, not the main characters that you would know from the comics, but other Inhumans are in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show.
Right.
Their history is that the Kree visited Earth back millennia ago and experimented on humans.
Okay.
And created Inhumans.
That's talked about in the second season, or is it later? Because I know in the second season when they launched into the Inhumans thing,
they talk about it sort of throughout, or whatever.
Okay.
But that's the comic book history of it, right?
Right. Yeah.
So the Kree show up several times in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they talk about the history when they showed up in the past. And there's a whole thing about how Agents of that S.H.I.E.L.D. had a Kree corpse in like storage. They were using the blood to do experiments with. So this would have been all like going on in the background as Nick Fury is, a junior officer or whatever, doesn't know about it yet, kind of thing. And then that he uses it to create Project Tahiti, which if you don't know what it is, you haven't watched the show, that's okay.
Yeah.
But like, so there's it kind of is interesting. Like I like the intricacy of it. You can sort of see like there's just layers of this organization of S.H.I.E.L.D. that you just think of Nick Fury as the guy, but he's this young guy who didn't know a lot about it yet, and he's growing and becomes the director because he saves Alexander Pierce's daughter or something in Bogota. They talk about that in Winter Soldier or whatever. So as he's kind of raising up, he doesn't know about all these things that are going on, but because of that experience that he had with Captain Marvel, not only does that shape his desire to create the Avengers, but he starts wanting to know more and more about these objects of unknown origin and strange alien things and magic stuff, which all shows up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's I don't know. I just think they did a cool job with that stuff. What I appreciate about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the movies don't care what happens in the show.
No.
But the people who make the shows, and I guess they must have for Captain Marvel, they must have paid a little bit more attention. But the people who make the shows have really tried to kind of work in with that. And the best example of that has been how the show linked up with Winter Soldier when that happened. The two things overlapped, and they were complete stories on their own. But if you watch both, you got such a more intricate idea of it.
Well, apparently, S.H.I.E.L.D. had planned like this whole other arc.
Yeah,
and then Winter Soldier was like, "We're doing this."
Yeah.
So then they had to scrap. That's why the first
they launched
14 or 16 episodes are a very different show than the one you got.
Well, and
because they had to fill it because they're like, "Oh, Crow!" Like,
they weren't very good, right?
No,
they were kind of spinning their wheels, and then once they got into Winter Soldier, they kind of hit the ground running. It was a much better show. So I like the way that it kind of filled in some gaps, even from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I thought that was pretty cool.
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in an interesting spot because like all the Netflix shows and the other shows are connected, but they're so low, they're low neighborhood that it can just be like we can reference the world around us and show we're connected, but we're islands unto ourselves, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. it's been treated as bigger. So then it's like that's almost the one where it's like we're connected, but we ignore you.
Yeah.
on the film side. Like the Netflix and soon to be if the Netflix shows do show up on the streaming, they still do that where it's like, hey, we're in Hell's Kitchen. Like, well, we can reference that the Avengers dropped an island.
Yeah.
But we don't have to, like, we get to be our own thing.
Yeah, and it's like, so they're doing with the new Disney Plus streaming service, and Kevin Feige has said they're doing all those extra shows, Loki and whatever else. But they're like, those ones are not going to be run by the Marvel Television Studios. They're going to be run by Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. So they're going to be legitimately interconnected. Yeah. And like he said, like these are going to be much more closely tied than the previous stuff. So it makes me wonder, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. almost got canceled, and they're doing 2 more seasons in the summertime, and they're shorter. And so I wonder if they're going to have more control over that stuff, and also if the Netflix stuff does get continued, if they'll have more control. Yeah, like it makes more sense if they're going to do TV shows anyway.
I really hope they do. Like there's for some reason been that almost standoff, like of differences between the film and the TV. Yeah, and it'd be nice to see more of like that connectedness. Yeah, yeah, and like, how big of a payoff would it be for fans to see Coulson show up, but having Coulson and Captain Marvel made sense. Yeah. But if you haven't been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything, you're like, Coulson died in the first Avengers movie. Yeah. Like, there would be a nice payoff, a nice resonance to say in Endgame, have Coulson show up. Because if you've been paying attention to all this stuff, you'd be like, oh, wow, like Cap, Tony, and them are going to be so thrilled because they don't know. Yeah. It's still on the down low. Yeah. But if you haven't, you're going to be like, what the heck's this dead guy doing here?
Apparently, Clark Gregg, is that his name, who plays Agent Coulson? He's like jokingly pitching ideas. He's like, what if we had a show about just Agent Coulson walking around the neighborhood and accidentally bumping into Captain America at a deli? How awkward would that be? But and it's part of the reason that I like some of the stuff with Captain Marvel is it really does, like, the stuff with the Kree has been such a big part of how he didn't die and came back to life. Yeah. So to have that in his history is just kind of neat.
That is a nice side.
It appeals to my nerdy side. The other thing I was thinking, I didn't realize that, we've been talking about recently how Robert Downey Jr. with Infinity War, he's tied with Hugh Jackman for the number of times he's played a role. He's going to surpass him with Endgame.
I heard he signed on for more.
Okay, well, but at Endgame he's going to be at 10, right? He's at 9 right now, and he's going to beat Hugh Jackman. If Samuel L. Jackson's in Endgame, he's also going to be in Far From Home. He'll be tied for 10 as well. Yeah, because he's been in a bunch of movies recently as well. I was thinking about that, and actually, I was thinking Chris Evans is only 1 behind him. He'll be at 9 with Endgame as well. Yeah. So it's these guys have played this role a lot.
I know, and it's going to be interesting seeing what the phase is, because we'll talk about it. Because we've addressed like wondering what phase 3 is going to be, because phase 4, because a couple months ago it seemed, or it was officially announced, like, hey, phase 4 is going to look a bit different because they were going to bank on Cosmic and Guardians, and then James Gunn was fired.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about that.
But then as of last Friday, they've announced that he is back. Now, from the sounds of the report, like, this has been planned for a while. Yeah. But it was released, like they dropped dime last Friday.
I wonder if James Gunn knew from the beginning, like, we're going to take you back.
I know, yeah, exactly. Like, we have to, well, and from the sounds of it, like I think Bob Iger commented on it, and he's like, I was really impressed by like how he handled it, because James Gunn, to his credit, did not once go like, screw you, Disney, which I think fans, whether they like agreed with what, like, depending on how much they supported Gunn, they were like, this was ridiculous. Like,
he just left that up to Drax.
No, Batista. Which will be interesting to see if he comes back. He burned a lot of bridges.
He was mad.
He was PO'd.
But here, so is James Gunn directing?
He is writing and directing Suicide Squad 2.
And he's directing Guardians 3.
And he's directing and has already written Guardians 3.
That's so crazy.
So like, Screen Junkies did an episode on it, and they pointed out something like, there has been no official release date. There wasn't a release date set for Guardians before. So it's not going to be like you're waiting crazy long, because production on they're well into pre-production on Suicide Squad 2, which sounds like it's a soft reboot. Yeah. And then he can jump into Guardians 3. So Guardians 3 was still going to be 2 or 3 years away potentially.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing
So now
planned
it's still.
for a year after Endgame, right?
Wow,
sorry,
really?
after almost a year after Endgame. The only exception would be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So there's nothing until the next May, I don't think.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
I
that's
might
a break.
be wrong about that, but I think that's right. Like, there's going to be that same thing happened after the original Avengers. The
Yeah,
only thing we
that's
got
true.
was Iron Man 3, and then there was
Which-
nothing for a while. Yeah, I know, Chris.
Not a note to take a break on.
So, like that, yeah. It's this is going to be the last hurrah of the original Avengers together as a team,
Yeah.
and then the next section or whatever.
And
So, but also this. What's the date today? Tomorrow, the Disney Fox deal is supposed to finish. Right?
Yes. So when you
Well,
guys hear
it'll
this
have gone
next,
over already.
yeah, by the time you guys hear this, the Disney Fox deal goes through officially on Tuesday, March 19th.
20th. Today's no.
Yeah, today's the 18th.
Sorry, it's Wednesday then, the 20th. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I heard the 19th. All right, so over the next 2 days, one of those two, it will happen. So when you hear this, last week, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Whatever it is.
So that's like, it's going to be interesting going forward, seeing what we're getting, because you're getting the Black Widow movie. They have said the only person that they will keep on from the X-Men franchise is Ryan Reynolds. So whether or not they'll keep Josh Brolin as Cable or not, that'd be interesting, because
Because he's Thanos too.
yeah, because he's
That's
also
true.
Thanos. But Deadpool 2 was very much, and the plan was like, we want to do X-Force. Like,
Yeah.
even though they had their X-Force gag in that, it was to set up X-Force before Deadpool 3.
But I mean, I have to assume that's going to be separate, right? And like,
I don't know if it will, though, because like with him being who he is and that character having the potential to show up in PG-13, like, are you, like, when you dangle that carrot of the money potentially involved, are they going to turn that down?
that's true.
I think
So you think they're going to reboot or soft reboot, or
I
just
think-
it's Deadpool, so they'll just make jokes about it? And
I think they do it. To me, what would make the most sense would be like Deadpool when he does his movies. They're small and R-rated, and you can have a field day of humor with that. But when he shows up if he shows up with an Avenger, or if he shows up in something like that, like a Cap,
man, I hope he doesn't show up in any other movies.
but fair. I like
Yeah.
the character more than you do. Or a Spider-Man, for example, like he's going to be PG-13, and there is that's easily done. And if you're someone who's looking at money, it's like, oh, if we have Deadpool show up in this movie, like that will probably up our income.
Yeah.
Like you're going to do that. You have the ability. I don't, but they're looking at the cash cow that has been Deadpool as an R-rated franchise, because you can make it for substantially less, and it's making so much money. I don't think they're going to walk away from that either.
Yeah.
I mean, when characters show up in other characters' comics, it's similar.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take that basis, I think you can do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Last week was a big week for Marvel, just because you had the Avengers trailer drop with no notice, no publicity whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It was just suddenly like, what? Like, best bathroom break I've ever taken at work.
Those weird gray uniforms they have now.
Quantum
armor.
Steve, this might be the last one we get to do with you for a little while.
That's true. I'm having a baby.
You are. So, dear listener, I would love to do a Avengers Thoughts with Steve. Maybe that one will be over Skype or something.
Yeah.
Because right after... Oh, wait.
I'm trying to think. My baby's due May 2nd. Avengers comes out the week before
April
that.
26th.
I probably shouldn't leave home.
No. Oh, yeah. No, that's why I'm like Skype, if anything. So we might not see you for a while, but
Yeah.
we will miss you. And dear listener, if you can, please pray for Steve, pray for his wife Becky for a smooth and safe delivery. The joke has been, if Becky goes into labor during Avengers, you will name your child Thanos. She's not on board?
No.
All right, we gotta try to get her on board.
She's already been very generous with the name. we have some good ideas.
So we will miss you, but we're excited for you, man.
Yeah. I'm excited for me too. Thanks.
You should be.
And we'll do it again. It'll happen.
Oh, I know.
I want to talk about Spider-Man Homecoming, and I want to talk about Endgame. And
oh yeah. Well, and that's the beauty. We will talk, but then we'll figure out a time for you guys to listen. So, dear listener, viewer, thank you for listening and watching. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let us know in the comments/emails what you thought of Captain Marvel. The reason I say comments/emails is I've had to disable all commenting on the website. Spam has gotten ridiculous. It's just, I can't keep comments open. So drop us an email. There's an email form on that website. But if you're on Podbean, if you're seeing this on Facebook, or Instagram, let us know in the comments. What did you think? Did you come to the same conclusions we did? Did you enjoy it? And what do you hope out of the sequel and also Endgame? Because that is right around the corner, and I'm super stoked.
That's soon.
April's loaded, though. There's Hellboy, there's Shazam, and then Endgame.
I didn't realize that Hellboy was going to be starring the guy from
the Stranger Things
until I saw the preview. Yeah,
which I gotta say this: when we saw Captain Marvel, strangest trailer block I ever got, because we got the trailer for Frozen 2
Disney
and Hellboy in this. Like, there was Godzilla in between, but I'm like, these are not the same movies that you.
Yeah.
What?
I thought it was really funny that I was going to see Captain Marvel and there was a Shazam trailer.
I didn't get the Shazam trailer.
Oh, really?
No, I would have loved it.
Like, because it's
Captain Marvel. It's the history.
Yeah.
Which in the last podcast episode I posted, and I'll relink again to the excellent articles Steve wrote about the long, interesting, complicated history of the legal rights to the name Captain Marvel. All that being said, dear listener, hope you enjoyed. If you enjoy what we do, feel free to hit us up on Coffee if you feel like you can financially donate to us. That would be awesome.
That's the donation website.
Yes. Or if you'd like to support, another way you can support us financially is you can hit up our Redbubble site and get some sick swag, some coffee cups, some shirts. There's a lot of stuff, and we get a portion of that. So if you're wanting to do that, awesome. All that being said, you guys support us just by listening, liking, and sharing, and thank you so much for that. It's been great. So with all that being said, hope you enjoyed this episode, and have a great day. God bless, guys. Take care. Peace.
See ya.